If you're like me, working in the IT industry and have been in the industry for several decades, you're bound to be wondering about the questions that people are asking about the slowdown, downturn, layoffs, and trying to make a sense of all this. So, in this session, let's try to make a sense of this together. There was an interesting post in Reddit just the other day that blew up, right? It says entering in tech was the best till 2020, and now it's just too overcrowded. Your opinions? So this guy posts that he's seeing the industry getting overcrowded. But I'm smiling at this because I'm from that generation that saw the dot-com boom and bust and felt at that time it was all overcrowded. And then we saw the tech boom and bust during the mobile boom time. And then now we are seeing this 2020 boom and bust. Now, wait till you get to your 40s. And then you're going to wonder how the people over age of 40 survive in IT. Let's look at the headlines. There is a slowdown in the industry, but the headlines just tell part of the story. If you see a couple of these from Reuters, it says India's TCS CEO flags uncertain demand as inflation crimps spending. Now, the other headline just on this topic says TCS third quarter results highlight revenue growth of 4% year on year. Income rises 8%, and yet the company gives a dividend of 27 rupees per share, which is important to note. Likewise, Deccan Herald says Infosys TCS report net headcount drop in third quarter as client sentiment remained unchanged. TCS headcount plummeted by 5,680. And likewise, Infosys saw employee base shrink by 6,000. What it tells us is a part of the story. That is, yes, there is a downturn, there is a slowdown, there is an attrition that's happening, natural attrition of about 10 to 15% that happens in the industry. But those jobs are not being backfilled because of the headwinds. What does that mean? None of us really have a crystal ball, right? Your corporate leaders and clients might tell you, stay focused, stay calm, but they themselves are trying to navigate this downturn, are trying to figure out what it means to them. Your peers and your friends are probably in the same boat as you. They are also trying to figure out, okay, what does this downturn mean to me? Of course, media, columnists, and writers, they just regurgitate what we, the industry insiders, tell them. The influencers are just like you and me. They just gather some input, some insights, some sound bites, and try to create a clickbait headline. We need to look beyond those headlines. That's kind of our job, right? That's what we need to stay focused on. Now, some of your mentors might not be able to predict the future, but they can share experiences from the past. So let me do just that for a minute. I happen to be an investor in Infosys and a long-term former employee. I spent almost 10 years in Infosys from 2003 to 2013. And I was fortunate to have received ESOPs, employee stock options at that time. And some of those stocks are part of my portfolio, which I still hold. And that is the reason I'm closely kind of watching the industry trends and, more importantly, Infosys stock. And this stock or trend, if you see the long-term trend from 2002 up to now, it kind of tells a long-term story. 1999 and 2000 is when the Y2K boom kind of ended. And if you see, right after that boom, the stock dropped. 2002, they were predicting another meltdown, slowdown, and everything. But eventually the stock took off. And 2007, 2008 is when it had kind of peaked. And 2008, 2009 is when we saw the first financial meltdown that some of you who have been in the industry as long as I have probably remember that pretty vividly. If not, just read up on it. That was pretty deep meltdown across the globe. It affected all industries, including the IT industry. But if you see, subsequent to that, it's the industry bounced back. The stocks again bounced back. The companies started doing well. The software services industry really took off. And then there was a bit of slowdown in the 2013-14 time. What is interesting is the recent history. If you see here, April of 2020, I don't have to tell you what happened. It was the peak of the pandemic. Almost the whole world has started shutting down, the economies around the world. But what happened is all of us, the white collar workers, started working from home. Remote working became the norm, which meant technology was front and center as the enabler of remote workers. Technology started booming. And this is kind of the history, a recent history that we're talking about, 2002 to 2003. When the industry really peaked, there was a hiring boom. A lot of people got into the industry. But after that, the US economy kind of slowed down. The Federal Reserve started throttling the economy. Interest rates went down. And then we saw a downturn again. Things started slowing down, which meant if the rest of the world slows down, the US economy slows down, the market slows down, the IT services sector also sees a fallout from that. And we saw that very clearly now in the recent history. But if you see the recent history, again, after this slowdown in 2003, mid of 2003, we are seeing a gradual bounce back. Now, it means none of us really have a crystal ball, but some of your mentors can't predict the future, but they can talk about the past and how you were able to ride out the past. And this is really important to know. Now, what this really means to you and me is we need to take a longer term view to be able to thrive in the IT industry. The job market will continue to evolve. If you're working, stay focused on delivering excellent solutions. If you are a fresher in the industry, stay focused on learning and contributing to open source communities and stay hands-on. You will get an opportunity pretty soon. Now, be multi-skilled, and if you are hands-on, show expertise in niche areas like system integration and DevOps. Stay hands-on development roles. This requires perseverance and the ability to stay updated on functional and technical skills. Always demonstrate excellent communication skills all the time. Polish up your verbal and written skills. This is an opportunity to focus on these areas. Continue to stay updated on emerging trends, tools, and technologies. Look past the hype over AI, ML, and ChatGPT. But what that means is try to get hands-on, learn to use these tools as a user, appreciate these, and at some point, if you're asked to be an advisor on these tools. Stay updated on your domains, be it supply chain, banking, medtech, or any other domain that you are working on. Stay updated on current tools and technologies in your technology domain. Now, last but not the least is to nurture your network. Stay engaged with your peers, your friends, your colleagues, the people who you work with over the years. These are the people who know you, who will be able to vouch for you when opportunities do arrive. So what I've tried to do is try to make a sense of everything that's happening from the lens of an investor and an IT professional who has been in the industry for a while. And not all of it is a crystal ball. Some of it is looking at the past, trying to see if there's a pattern out there that we can all observe, learn from, and try to look at the future ahead.